welcome back to the channel, you guys. Welcome back to Ironclad RC. Today we're going to be tuning this monohull boat, basically monohull tuning for beginners. We're going to go into strut angles, strut and stuffing tube height, trim tab angles, trim tab and strut angles, turn fins, rudder, the whole nine, weight distribution. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do my best to try to explain this for you. Like I said, this is for the beginner RC, or some of you veterans may already know a lot of this stuff. And if you do, you know, if you have something to add, drop a comment. But I'm going to try my best. Not all boats are created equal. Hydros, catamarans, monos, they all have their own characteristics, their own ride characteristics, and how they like to be tuned and set up. So we're gonna go into monohulls today. Yeah. So stick around. Don't blink. Big B here with Ironclad RC. So let's get to it. I'm running a Delta Force 35-inch monohull boat. Transom, bow. Monohull boats are basically tuned or centered around bow lift. Okay, so when I say the bow of the boat, lifting the bow of the boat, I'm talking about the front of the boat will be raised up out of the water. If I say transom lift, the transom of the boat is going to be pushing or lifting up out of the water. All right, monohull boats are basically, they ride on the back third of the boat, basically where that ride pad right there is. You see that like squared off spot on the bottom of my boat where the stinger is? That's called a ride pad. A boat with a ride pad is going to be a little more stable than a boat with a straight V, you know, a true V hull. A V hull is going to ride a little bit deeper in the water, and a V hull with a ride pad is going to ride a little bit higher in the water. So that kind of brings me to stuffing tube height on the transom of the boat. All right, the lower the stuffing tubes coming out the transom, the higher the boat will ride in the water. The higher the stuffing tube is, stinger, strut, is on the transom of the boat, the lower the boat will ride in the water. You got me? If your stuffing tube or stinger is too high on your transom, if it's coming out way up here, you're going to have blowouts in the turns. The prop's actually going to come out of the water and kind of blow out. You'll lose speed and acceleration. So it's kind of a happy medium. Some guys like theirs way low. I like mine down low. I've actually filed a flat spot off the bottom of my stinger here so I can get this stuffing tube and stinger low as I possibly can. I used to run it up high, and I just like it low. I like it lower. So now that we've covered the height of your stuffing tube, stinger, strut, let's go into the angle and what the angle of thrust does to your boat. When you're starting to tune your boat, maybe it's your first run or you've run the boat and you want to start tuning your stinger or strut, I would start off with a neutral position. That's your stinger or strut is basically in line with the bottom of your boat. All right, a neutral angle. All right, neutral. The prop, the angle isn't blowing up, the angle isn't going down. Neutral angle. All right, if you raise the strut angle on your transom, all right, if you raise it, the back of the boat is going to ride deeper into the water if you raise it, and that's going to push the bow of the boat up. If you lower your strut or stinger, it's going to push the transom of the boat, the back of the boat, up and push the bow of the boat down. It's kind of the same thing with your trim tabs. Lower your trim tabs, pushes the bow down. Raise the trim tabs will push the bow up to a certain extent. If you want to push the bow up with your boat, you trim up your stinger and run like a neutral trim. All right, that's the only way you could actually bring the bow of the boat up, only by pushing the back of the boat down. With every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. You got me? You can't really lift with trim tabs. Lift the bow. anyway. You could push the bow down, but you can't actually lift it. You do all the lifting of the bow with your stinger, okay? And then you trim out the lift with your trim tabs. It's a lot of information, I know, and you know, I kind of got to get it out as it comes to me. Some of this stuff, you know, hopefully I get it all right, you guys. Hopefully I'm getting it all right. We'll see, because we're going to take this boat out here in a little bit. Go put it in the water. 4S in the boat. Going just to show you guys the basic tuning. I've got my strut at a neutral angle, in line with the ride pads. In line with the ride pad. All right, neutral angle. Also have the trim tabs in a neutral angle. No down trim and no up trim. We'll see what the boat does. You want to try to keep a monohull bow up, but as flat as possible without submarining the boat. All right, so it's a neutral position. The bow of the boat's actually raised up at speed, and she's wanting to porpoise. You see that? See how she's coming out of the water? Kind of porpoising, coming out of the water. So, see that? See how she's kind of squirrely? All right, so we're going to keep the trim tabs in their neutral position, and we're going to move the strut down. If you guys are interested in trim tab adjustments, check out a video I've put out about a week ago about how to adjust trim tabs. I'm going to keep the trim tabs in a neutral position, but I'm going to move the strut down. All right, moving the strut down is just like moving your trim tabs down. It'll put down trim on the bow of the boat. Remember, monohulls are centered around bow lift. All right, so you can see the angle. You can see the angle on the strut. It's actually pointing down. So let's see if that takes care of any of that bow lift. Let's see if we can get the bow to come down. See that? Still out of the water though. Still coming out of the water. So now you would actually put a little bit of trim on your trim tabs. The ideal setup, strut kind of pointed up on a monohull. That'll get the bow of the boat up, the stern of the boat, the transom of the boat down, so you can get water to the prop. You see that? See how she's squirrely? Real squirrely, but the bow of the boat's pushed down. You see how the bow of the boat's down a little bit? But she's real squirrely. So now let's go up with the strut. Okay, let's go all the way up with the strut and see what happens. All right, this is an X450 low lift prop. All right, so you guys can see the strut's pointing up. Let me tighten it down there. It's kind of an extreme. The strut pointed up. You'll probably see a lot of rooster tail because it's actually throwing a lot of the prop wash up. So let's check it out. All right, so I like to run my monos with the stinger pointed up just a hair, a couple degrees. All right, so she's actually side to side. So let's kind of trim that out. All right. All right, so let's go down with our trim tabs. So we got our strut up. I'm gonna go down with my trim tabs. A couple degrees, a couple turns. Okay. This is kind of an ideal setup for like straightaway passes, really. All right, so you can see the difference in the ride of the boat right off the bat. You see that? You see that? The bow's down. See how the bow's pointing down on the boat? With the trim tabs, got a big rooster tail. Props right on top of the water. The strut's pushing the bow of the boat up. She's still squirrely, but that's where you want it. You want like I guess on a mono they call it positive thrust when your strut is angled up. That points the bow up, puts the stern of the boat in the water. On a mono, the stern the transom needs to be down. That's where it's riding at. You don't want it pushing up out of the water. All right, so while we got the trim tabs down, let's go down with the strut, okay? All right, so trim tabs down, strut down. Let's see what it does. This is gonna cause the boat to oversteer. When the bow of the boat's down in the water, it's gonna oversteer. It's gonna be hard to control. Same thing when the boat, just like just now, when the boat was running bow up out of the water, it's gonna be real squirrely, hard to control. So trim tabs down, strut down. All right, so check it out. Not a big rooster tail. Boat's got good thrust. It's stable. But the top speed's not as high. All right, so let's go back up with the strut. Let's go back up with the strut. See, that's pushing the bow of the boat into the water with our trim tabs down and our strut down. That's pushing the bow into the water. A lot of wetted area, a lot of surface area in the water, slowing us down. So let's go back up so you guys can see the difference, all right? So I'm gonna go back up with the strut, trim tabs down. All right, this is where I like to run my boat, like I said. It's less wetted area in the water for, you know, high speed runs. See, it has a lot better takeoff and acceleration with it up. Less boat in the water. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I'm often wrong. But that's a good running boat right there. All right, let's change the batteries out. Batteries are dead. So we've seen what the boat did with the trim tabs down, with the strut positions up and down, neutral. Let's go up with the trim tabs. Now remember, your trim tabs will only push the bow of the boat up so much, all right? If you want to lift the bow of your boat, say your bow heavy, all right, the front of the boat's heavy, then you're actually going to use your strut to lift the bow of the boat. But remember, every action, there's an equal opposite reaction. You want to lift the boat with your strut, but it's also going to push the back of the boat down. If the back of your boat is down in the water too much, that's going to create drag. All right, and remember your trim tabs, if they're down too much, it's going to create drag. All right, so we got a neutral position on our stinger here, neutral position with the trim tabs up. Let's see what it does. Yeah, she's wanting to chine walk a lot. All right. See how she's squirrely? No control. I have no control. No control of the boat when it's like out of the water like that with your trim tabs all the way up. The trim tabs up. Check it out. Squirrely when I blip it. Let's go down with the strut. As if it's almost like we don't have trim tabs right now because I got them up so far that we can't even tell we have them really, okay? Go down with the strut. Let's try to push the bow of the boat down, okay? Let's go down with the strut. Try to push the bow of the boat down. All right. So I got it down. She's still bouncing, all right? So we couldn't get the boat to ride right with just the strut alone. You got me? Gotta have some trim. It's going crazy right now. See that? I can't even hardly control it. All right. So you guys see what it's doing with the strut down. It didn't push the bow of the boat down. All right. It didn't do what we wanted it to do. But if we put some trim with the trim tabs, that's actually picking with the strut down like that, it's actually picking the transom of the boat up. You got me? All right, so we got a little bit of trim here. So just a couple turns on my trim tab got this thing kind of leveled out where we want it. But the thrust angle's too far down into the water, pushing the bow of the boat down. I should say it's pushing the back of the boat up. You see that? See how it's pushing the back of the boat up when I take off? Watch this. See how it's picking the whole boat up out of the water with the strut down and the trim tabs down. All right, so that's like an extreme up right there. You see that? Extreme up. And that's going to push the transom down into the water when it's extreme like this. But this is the way I like to run my mono. Well, not like this, but you know what I'm saying. All right, a little bit too far up. But you see, when I give it trigger, it's not picking the whole back of the boat up. See that? It's not picking the boat up like it was a while ago. So let's start fine tuning it, okay? I've got maybe 1 degree of strut angle up, 1 or 2 degrees up. That's where I like to run mine. You see that? So once you find where you want your thrust at, then you start working on trim tabs. All right, and you just watch the boat, watch what it's doing, okay? You want it to run flat, but you also want the bow up a little bit of an angle. All right, so she's kind of chine walking a little bit. All right, so let's take care of some of that chine walk. You can't really take care of the chine walk with your strut. You have to use your trim tabs. With the chine walk, you just kind of put your right trim tab down, maybe a half a turn. Let's see if that helps with the chine walk. Yeah, that's better. So let's see what she does. Yeah, look at there. See that? She's not bouncing back and forth, chine walking. She's running nice and flat. I hit those waves, it picked it up. So let's let it sit for a second. All right, let's see what she does. No chine walking. See how she's handling, nice and stable. All right, so I'm gonna put the strut up, and we're gonna do some turns. I'm gonna show you what it does if your strut's too high in the turn. It's gonna blow out. You're gonna lose acceleration. The prop's coming out of the water, cavitating, lose acceleration. And we're gonna do a couple turns, some wide turns, and just watch what it does. She's gonna come out of the water, and you're gonna lose your power. All right. Watch this. In the turn, see how you hear it, you can listen to it. Oh, you hear it? Did you hear it? It kind of caught a rail and spun out. The prop come out the water, spun out. So the strut's too high. All right, let's go back down where we just had it, because it was actually running really good. A lot of this stuff's repetitive, I know. But with this boat, it's a long boat, so the adjustments won't be the same as a shorter boat, you know, and wider boat. Each boat has its own characteristic. This boat right here is very similar to the Sonic Wake, and maybe the Spartan. You know, Spartan has a deep V, I think, and this is like a low V. Yeah, see, that's nice. Running good. She's running good. I hope this is helping you guys out. I'm trying to do my best explaining this. And I'm really just kind of showing you what the boat does in each scenario. It just didn't have the top end that I'm looking for with it neutral. I like the transom to be down in the water, the bow to be up. Much better. Better takeoff. Yeah, it's nice. You know, the back third of the boat's in the water. We're gonna put a set of light packs in. Boats like to be light, you know. It's 100C, 3200 milliamp 100C pack. You know, if your boat's riding like bow heavy, move your weight back, get it up out of the water. Lifting props. A monohull's like a low lift prop or a medium lift prop. Okay, not so much a high lift prop. That's about where I like my boat. A little bit of trim, a little bit of down trim with maybe 1 or 2 degrees up on my strut. All right, so let's go. So I'm gonna show you what drag does to a boat. All right, I'm gonna put my turn fins down. All right, I'm gonna put my turn fins all the way down. You see that? You guys have seen how the boat runs with them up. So let's go down. This is what drag does to a boat. It'll actually lift the whole back of the boat up. Check it out. Watch this. You see that? Causing drag. she does a damn tight turn with them down like that. Probably not a lot of videos about tuning your monohull boat, you know, because it's kind of hard to explain. Every boat's different. Bow's light because I got a light battery in it right now. Next time we come out and I do some tuning with this boat, we'll do it on 6S, do some real straightaway passes. I actually just found this little pond, you know, but if there's anybody out there that can, you know, chime in, help out with tuning and give some of these new guys some tuning tips, hey, by all means, you guys, help them out. Got away from me there at high speed. Ideal setup for a monohull is no down trim with your trim tabs. None. No down trim at all. Like I said before, trim tabs create drag. So try to tune it with your strut. Get your strut in a prime location and gradually work those trim tabs down until you get the ride that you want. And it may take you a few times, you know, a few passes, few laps. Watch it like an eagle. Watch what the boat's doing. Watch the angle of the boat. Watch the rooster tail. Watch the waves coming off the front of the boat. You know, all that stuff's telling you something, you know. But like I said, with every action, there's an equal opposite reaction. Just like propellers. You either get a fast acceleration prop or a good top end prop. There's not a prop that has both, you know. So same thing with the tuning part. Same thing. You do one thing that pushes the bow down, then the back of the boat's going to come up. You catch my drift? Might get rained on. Might have to wrap it up. Yeah, see, that's nice. It's only on 4S, but she's nice and smooth. Watch this. Look at that. No porpoising, no torque roll. That's a huge prop. That's a 450 cut down to a 448. 1.4 pitch. No porpoising. No porpoising at all. You see that? The bow of the boat's not digging down into the water, so I lose, lose some of my control. It's not up out of the water so much that I'm losing control. That's a good setup right there, even for straightaway passes. You want her to run flat, you want her to run out the water, but you don't want her to bounce around crazy, going crazy out of the water, because you'll lose control. That's a good setup. Put 6S in that, it'd probably do pretty good. Battery's going dead. I was about to show you guys what the rudder does with it kicked forward and kicked back, but maybe we'll do that in a different video, all about rudder type deal. All right, so she's dead. Really, I just kind of scratched the surface. I didn't really go into weight distribution. I didn't go into rudder, canter back and forth, what it does to the boat. I just really kind of showed you guys strut positions, stinger positions, and trim tabs, how to kind of get your boat riding the best, most efficient. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something. Big B with Ironclad RC, channel where we tinker, test, and tune everything RC. We'll see you guys next time.